Mary, how do we title you? How should I be known? Makeup extraordinaire, facial illusionist, what are we saying?
Oh goodness, I mean everything sounds so pretentious. All I try to do is make people look beautiful. So, you know, in the end my answer would be just makeup artist. But maybe one who's been around a very long time. So, you know, that's a title. I mean, it's a title that people have the right to use at any point in their career, and I'm just one of those ones who've been blessed with a successful career.
So let's go back to, well, as far back as you'd like to go, but when was the first time you picked up a lipstick or an eyeliner and thought, oh actually I want to do this for my job? When was that moment?
Well, it's a story that's actually quite magical. I was living in Los Angeles and my boyfriend at the time opened up Fearne Cotton in LA, and he said he was putting in a makeup division called Il Maquillage. It was concession. And he said, why don't you do, run the concession? I was like, but I've never worn makeup in my life. I was 22 years old and I promise you I'd never worn makeup in my life, never. It wasn't until California, I was living like a hippie dream in California. So he sent me to New York, where I lived for a month in a beautiful apartment, going to Studio 54 every night and doing makeup. This was in the mid-70s, that tells you my age. And I had the most amazing time. And the only makeup lesson I've ever had was when Fearne Cotton, who owns Il Maquillage, took me downstairs to her basement where all the colours were laid out. We're talking literally mid-70s, we're talking 1706, okay? And she did my makeup. Remember, I'd never worn makeup before, and I just clocked everything she did. I looked at the end like that wonderful 70s makeup with extraordinary contour, amazing colours, and this was David Bowie-esque. And it was extraordinary, and I remember looking in the mirror going, whoa, I look really extraordinary and amazing and different, like I'd never seen myself look like that. I wasn't sure whether I liked it. It was just the fact that it was an amazing job she'd done on me and made me and transformed me as makeup can do. So then I started working in the shop, which was really fun. It was on Madison and 60th or something, so all these sort of wonderful ladies from, uptown New York was coming. I used to sell them colours, I just loved that and got. It probably became bossy at that point in my life. Yes, no, before that I wasn't. I had no reason to be. So learned, found my inner bossiness and went back to LA and had, the most wonderful time working in Fearne. And that's how it all started. And at this point, there was no fashion happening in LA at all. And there was very little happening, sort of on a global level. It was still a very sort of underlying thing. It was much more about illustration, and we're very few photographers. And then I came back to London and thought, and at some point in my confidence, I wanted to come home, back to London. And I came back and I thought, do I really want to, what shall I do? Do I want to be a makeup artist? And decided that actually a great friend called up and who, are you bored yet? Yeah. Okay, just checking. A great friend of mine who was opening up a model agency called Take Two said, please would I, do test her girls, which is the way the girls sort of build up their portfolios. So I started testing her girls. I said, in return, please can you advise me on meeting photographers, etc., etc. So I said, okay, I will do makeup. But I had a huge question mark over my career, because taking on this career, because I knew that it is an absolute life-changing career. It means you travel the world. If you're blessed to be successful, it means you travel the world, you work extremely hard, night and day, you are, constantly on a plane. It's really hard to have a family and sort of strive for what you want in the business. So I knew I was giving up certain things, and that was always my question mark, do I go for it or not? Anyway, I decided to go for it because I was offered this wonderful opportunity. And I arrived in Paris in the spring of 1984 when all the supermodels arrived. Okay? So I was staying in a hotel in Rue Saint-André-des-Arts, which is in the 6th, where Linda Evangelista, Stephanie Seymour, and Christy Turlington were all staying as well. Around the corner with the 5 original supermodels were those, plus Tatiana, and one other one whose name slipped my mind because I swear I'm getting old. Anyway, there was 5. I'll remember it. Cindy, of course, Cindy. Oh, so Cindy, there we are, Cindy, right, Cindy. So there was 5 of them, and 3 of us were all living in the same hotel. I remember one time I was sitting with a young photographer in a bar in the corner in the 6th. And we saw Christy and Stephanie walking towards us. Because even though Stephanie fell out of the big picture so much, because she took on marriage and whatever, she was still one that she really was the original supermodel as well.
And had they been established as the supermodels?
No, not yet.
This was just early days. Yeah, wow.
So then they were 16, I was what I was, and we were all there together in this hotel.
17.
18. And so we all there. And I remember that summer of just watching these girls grow in front of my very eyes. It was the most extraordinary thing. And out of that time came, which then they established their careers maybe in 86, let's say, came, which I am so blessed to be part of, this band of supermodel, of super hair and super makeup. Okay? Now the super hair was Sam McKnight, Orbe, Julianne Dees, Garen, who was already up there, and probably, I'd say, who else would you say were the super hairs? With Sam, Orbe, Garen.
No pressure.
Can you think of any? Julianne, for sure. That was probably it, 4. Okay, let's say 4, let's stop with 4. And out of the super makeup, blessed to be, was myself, Niles, Kevin O'Coin, and a couple of others, but we were sort of the ones who were traveling around the world, going from Concord to New York, Paris, Tokyo, blah, blah, blah. So that's how we were, and it was all because of these girls, and we were all there at the same time. And that's why we became who we are. It has nothing to do with being extra talented. Let me just confirm that. It's about being in the right place at the right time. It is as simple as that.
So do you think, like, for people, if there are sort of people in this room who want to, do what you're doing and reach great heights and do exciting things, would you say most of it is to do with fate and connections and, like you say, timing?
100%. And I think that we now, it is, because of this band of girls that created the band of, and also the photographers, like, it was, Penn and Avedon were still alive, which was amazing. And then Stephen Meisel, Peter Lindbergh, Paolo Versi, Patrick Marcelli, and a couple of others all working at the same the same degree. Now I think what's happened is a very interesting business, and I think what I really want to impress upon you all, it's a much harder game than it ever has been before, okay? It's really hard work. If you get to do what you want to do, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of you wanting to be makeup artists, if any of you do. It's just not as easy as it used to be.
What do you think about the route of going to makeup school or art college or something that is sort of an offshoot of makeup to get to the place you want to get?
Yeah, I think that's essential. In fact, Charlotte Tilby, who I know is talking here at one point, who is amazing, as you all know. I met her when she was 11, and she was, she had a girl crush on me, I guess, I don't know what it was. And she wanted to be a makeup artist. So her mother called me up when she was about 16, darling, Charlotte wants to be a makeup artist. And I said, well, great, but she has to go to makeup school first, because I have no idea whether she's capable of it. She did, and then I said, also, I want her to call me herself. I don't want you, who I've known for a long time, to call me and say she wants to be makeup. So Charlotte picked up the telephone, probably very nervously, and said, I want to be, can I assist you? So I was like, of course you can, I love you. I've known you since you were a baby, 11 years old. So she came on board as my assistant, and that's how she took off. So now, it's really important that you learn your basics from whatever school you go to, but it's really basic. But the most important thing is to start assisting someone really good with all the connections that you have, okay? And all the connections they have, and then you start building the connections.
What if you have 0 connections? So, for me, when I was trying to get into the industry I'm in, I was from the suburbs, I had 0 connections, and it's that first bit, isn't it? Once you're in the door, so say when you got your first kind of break, you had all those wonderful serendipitous moments of time where it all came together, and then you start to get those connections, and that, I think, is the point where it is pivotal, because you have to, as you say, use every contact so wisely, and be quite bolshy and confident and go for it. But before getting to that moment, how do you, because I'm sure people in this room will be thinking, well, how do I get contacts? How do I reach out to certain individuals?
I think what you have to do is you have to start working on your own style and talent. You have to start building what it is called like a portfolio.
Yeah.
Nowadays it wouldn't be a book. It would be, obviously all online. and you start working on pictures that you've done with photographers, young photographers or whatever, where they just be your neighbour. But you will, if you go to school, that's the other thing, if you go to school, you will be given some contacts already. If you're just out there going, what do I do? It's really hard. So going to school is a good thing. And also what you do is you start going around to the agencies and saying to the agencies, I want to assist. And if they feel they have a connection with you, and you just turn up always looking as you would know, you've been told this a million times before from the age of 4 by your mother, turn up looking presentable and beautiful and clean and enthusiastic.
Don't go dirty.
Don't go dirty. Things will happen. Do you know what I mean? Don't go dirty, no.
No.
So, it's about sort of how you present yourself and how you come off, or how, you've obviously got to seem very professional. You're never late. You've got to say, don't be 10 minutes late to the appointment you have with an agency, because they'll be like,
I hate late. It's annoying. It's
annoying. It's really bad look,
Yeah.
isn't it? So it's all that. It's just calling up the agencies and being brave enough to call them up. Because I think that's also a bravery, that's in itself is a brave thing. And saying, please can I come and show you my work, and I want to represent, I want to work with people that you represent.
And what do you look for in an assistant? When you've got a new girl with you, what do you want them to be doing? How should they present themselves? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for enormous amount of loyalty. And I mean that sincerely. I mean, you can tell when someone's like, you would rather be over there talking to someone else rather than standing right by your side.
Yeah.
So it's sort of loyalty where they just really are there for you. Obviously punctuality. And, I don't really care if they haven't yet developed their talent. Because I will do that for them. I will guide them through. And they will learn so much by watching someone. So it's not about how talented they are yet. So when you're like someone like Pat McGrath, the genius Pat McGrath, who we all bow down to, she has 20 assistants all the time with her, okay? Now those assistants are doing, because she does so many shows back to back, they will follow around, but they will also, because they're so professional, now guide her with new ideas. So Pat will go to another show, exhausted and having worked so hard on 10 shows already, and go, what should we do, guys? And they'll help her come up with a new theme, idea, whatever it might be, to get her through the next show. So there's a point where your assistant, I don't have that because I don't do shows any longer. I loved doing them, but I decided that it was not really for me anymore. I wanted to do celebrity work and work with the people I really truly love on a much more intimate basis. So that is something you do. You just get these people around you trust. So for me, it's about trust and sweetness, and also you have to have a connection with them, whatever that connection might be. Whatever it is. And a few assistants have really stood out to be absolutely amazing,
and some not.
and some not.
See you later.
What is the key to that? Is that really stripping it back, or is it a lot of makeup that looks natural?
Well, it's two things. First of all, that's again the creative decision. What kind of look do we want to do on her? We decided to do a very stripped back because it is all about this incredibly beautiful face. But there is always quite a lot of makeup on.
Yeah.
I mean, the skin. I spend more time on skin than I do anything else. I don't really, after if the skin's looking good, I really don't care what happens.
So what is that process for you? Is that a lot of prep before the makeup even goes on?
Yes. I mean, it's for me, it's not so much cleansing before, because I do believe that most people turn up with clean skin. So maybe a bit of toner. But it's like the primers, all the products that go on before, primer, underbase, the shimmers, all of that that go on, and then the foundation on top.
And what are we saying is your favourite brand that you would use or brands that you would use to kind of get that effect?
I mean, a brand I have a huge affiliation for, and I simply adore Chanel, because I love them, and they look after me so well, and they're such a great brand. I love Tom Ford. I mean, I think that we all probably love Tom Ford. It's extraordinary. I think that I love NARS. I think I'm terribly spoiled. I think Givenchy is doing beautiful products. I think Guerlain, their foundation is amazing. Their pure foundation. It's quite heavy, but it's great. NARS concealer is my favourite concealer of all time.
Is it?
Yeah.
And so would you look at a face and think, right, this skin is going to go better with, and then pick the product from there?
I have at home a room that is half the size of the stage, that is filled with makeup.
I want to go to Mary's house.
it's kind of, you know, it's quite a lot, right? So, you know, you can't take all of that to a shoot. So what you've done is you've already edited it yourself to your favourite products. Now, depending on the skin tone, you make sure you have the right foundations, the right primers, and the right under foundation primers and work with it. So, you know, like the CC cream from Chanel is amazing, the new one. It's very, very, very pale. So, you know, pale, what I love to do is build up from very pale to a more glowing skin, whatever that entails.
It's a beautiful look, I love that one.